with all of our might. Catch us if you can. 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 Now we gotta run. No more time for fun. When we're getting angry, we will yell with all of our might. Catch us if you can. 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 Again, catch us if you can. Time to get a move on. We will yell with all of our might. Catch us if you can.
ESPN, celebrating its 10th year as the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Today, live from Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama, the Winston 500. It is just a beautiful day here in Alabama. We have bright sunny skies. The temperature is 65 degrees. It is a little breezy, but only a 10% chance of rain. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Talladega, the world's fastest speedway. Yes, this has been the place where the world's fastest stock car lap was turned by Bill Elliott over 212 miles an hour, and the fastest 500-mile race of any kind was also held here. But it isn't quite as fast as it used to be because of the restrictor plates that NASCAR is using on these Winston Cup cars. However, when you look at the statistics, you'll see that since they have started using the restrictor plates, more cars have been running at the finish, more cars have been on the lead lap, there have been fewer caution periods and a faster average speed, so it has led to greater competition. Let's get more on this restrictor plate as we go to the pit area and jack a route.
Bob, let's give you a little education about carburetor restrictor plates. Now, this is a base plate that all the Winston Cup competitors use, and they mount it beneath their carburetor, actually to give them enough room to have all the working parts work properly. Now, you can see the openings here. Now, a couple of years ago, they introduced these 1-inch plates, and they put them beneath the base plate, and you can see the way it chokes off the air that goes into the manifold for the fuel mixture, and therefore decreases the horsepower. Now, this year, what they've done is they've introduced for Talladega a 15/16 plate. Now, you really can't tell the difference between the 15/16 and the 1-inch plate with the naked eye, but for the lack of a better way to show you, we've put these little black lines. Now, that's 1/16 of an inch on a 15/16. Now, when you place that behind the plate, it decreases the horsepower by 40 horses, or as much as 5 miles an hour here at Talladega, Alabama. And for those of you that don't quite understand horsepower and how it relates to speed, imagine, if you will, in yesterday's Kentucky Derby, all 16 horses going to the post with one leg tied down.
Well, Jack, a lot of the Ford drivers feel like they've been handicapped all year long. They have yet to visit victory lane. After their performance at Daytona, which was so disappointing, they had a problem. They were all sick. In fact, they were diagnosed with acute restrictor plate-itis. In fact, one car owner was concerned when he came here. He said, my car may not even make the field. Well, he was wrong. His car, driven by Mark Martin, sitting on the front row in the pole. He is joined in the front 2 rows by 3 fellow Ford drivers. On the outside front row, young Davey Allison in the Haviland Ford. Qualifying in 4th spot was Bill Elliott, and along beside Elliott, of course, the car of Neil Bonnet. But the much ballyhooed debut here of the Chevrolet Lumina. The Chevrolet Lumina starting 5th in the field with Darrell Waltrip aboard, and this is the only Chevrolet, though, qualifying in the top 10. Now, a lot of Chevrolet people are concerned. After 6 straight consecutive manufacturers' championships by the Monte Carlo, they have shelved the Monte Carlo and brought out the new Lumina. But the concern in the garage area was minimal. Many of the gurus feel maybe the Chevrolet drivers are sandbagging. Maybe they should change the name here from Talladega Superspeedway to Talladega Beach. Bob?
So we have the restrictor plate, and we have a new race car, the Lumina. There is also the racetrack itself, which has some unusual characteristics. And a little bit earlier, Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett took a look at one of these characteristics.
Bob, the first time I came to Talladega to race was 1969. I'd been racing for 6 years, and I'd never seen a racetrack that the start-finish line wasn't there. in the middle of the front straightaway. And the first time I went to practice, I came in and asked some people, where is the flagman? Oh, he's the start-finish line. Well, pray tell, where is the start-finish line? And then they pointed it out to me. It's 1,200 feet on down the racetrack where Ned Jarrett is.
And Benny, 1,200 feet is almost the length of most drag strips where they can get up to 250 miles an hour in that distance. In fact, a number of races have been won here at Talladega from where Benny is to where I am here at the start-finish line. So that can be a big advantage. It gives them that much more to use the slingshot principle to get around another car. And we might see some of that here today. Now, another advantage to the drivers for the start-finish line being down here, you can see the exit of pit road about 100 feet behind me. Now, if a caution comes out, normally the front runners will dive into the pits, especially if it comes out before they get into turn 4. Okay, if you're a lap down, you stay out on the racetrack, you can get across the start-finish line before they get their service and get out here, so you've gained a lap back. And also, if you're interested in Winston Cup points, you might pick up 5 bonus points if you're in the lead lap by letting the others go into the pit. You stay out on the racetrack, get across the start-finish line, got yourself those 5 bonus points. I think we'll see a good bit of that come into play here today in the Winston 500. Bob?
Thanks, Ned. And who will cross that finish line first? Well, we'll know in about 3 hours. The largest crowd in Alabama sports history is here to witness the Winston 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. Field begins to move out. We're just a few minutes away from the start of this 500-mile race at Talladega. We'll be back in just a moment. NASCAR's Winston Cup division is here for the Winston 500 at Talladega, Alabama. The field on warm-up laps here as we're just moments away from the start of this event. Every 1989 race winner has started in the top 10, but here now is the complete starting lineup for today's Winston 500. 41 cars are standing by to take the green flag. On the pole will be Mark Martin in the number 6 Strollite Ford, qualifying at 193.061 alongside Davey Allison. In the second row, it's Neil Bonnet in number 21, the Citgo Ford, and Bill Elliott in the Coors Melling Ford, car number 9. The third row, Darrell Waltrip in the new Lumina, number 17. And outside will be Morgan Shepherd in the Valvoline Pontiac, car 75. The fourth row, Harry Gant in the number 33 Skull Bandit Oldsmobile, and Phil Parsons, the defending champion of the race, in the Crown Oldsmobile, number 55. In row number 5, it's Terry Labonte in the Budweiser Ford, car number 11, and Rick Wilson in the Kodak Film Oldsmobile, car number 4. The sixth row, A.J. Foyt from Houston, Texas, is in the Copenhagen Oldsmobile, car number 14, and Jeff Bodine in the Levi Garrett Chevrolet, car 5. The seventh row, rookie Dick Trickle in the number 84 Miller High Life Buick, and Kyle Petty from Randall, North Carolina, in the Peak Antifreeze Pontiac, number 42. Richard Petty starts 15th in the STP Pontiac. Alongside will be Sterling Marvin in the Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile. Going to row number 9, it's Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, car 3, and Lake Speed in the Bullseye Barbecue Oldsmobile, car number 83. In the 10th row, it's Phil Barkdahl in car number 73, the Barkdahl Racing Oldsmobile, and Larry Pearson, another rookie candidate, in the Chattanooga Chew Buick, car number 16. In the 11th row, it's Ken Schrader, who was the fastest second-day qualifier, and Brett Bodine. 12th row, Ben Hess and Jimmy Means. Starting back in the 13th row will be Michael Waltrip and Rusty Wallace. Row number 14, Greg Sachs and Dale Jarrett. And as you look at the rest of the starting lineup, you will notice that some of the drivers who have been in contention at many times this year on the Winston Cup Trail are starting in the rear of the pack. So the cars are now on the backstretch and are warming up their tires and getting the engines up to temperature before we start this event. We have several cameras that we're going to employ for you, not only covering the racetrack, but look at this one. It is Rusty Wallace's carrying this bumper cam that shoots from the rear bumper of the car. And it should provide some interesting shots for you as we go throughout the afternoon. And there is the look from inside Rusty's car as he's positioned behind Jimmy Beans. Jeff Bodine will also carry one of our in-car cameras in the new Lumina. He's lined up behind the Kodak car driven by Rick Wilson, and there is Harry Gant in the Skull Bandit Oldsmobile as he is positioned right behind Darrell Waltrip for the start of the race. The field now is moving into the tri-oval. 18 degrees of banking in the tri-oval. The turns here are banked at